Today we're going to dive into a very simple framework on how to give feedback, how to even be nitpicky with really high standards and still give good feedback that does not make you a micromanager. All right, so a lot of our clients are in this kind of tug of war when it comes to feedback and their management style. They are very much craving a virtual assistant that is just going to take things off their plate. They want that assistant to take the tasks, run with it, and to not bother them with certain tasks again. Most of our clients want that. However, they have been burned by bad experiences and bad assistants in the past. So they're coming in to working with us from a very low trust point. But because of their desire to kind of have this long leash management style, they aren't quite sure how to give feedback. Because on top of those two things, wanting a long leash management style, having bad experiences, and encompassing all of that is they don't want to be labeled as a micromanager, because we have burned this word into our brains through a million LinkedIn posts and TED Talks and employee surveys that are just shouting from the rooftops that micromanagement is bad, which it is bad, but it's also extremely overused and somewhat misunderstood. And I would argue that most people that are maybe labeled as micromanagers really aren't trying to be crappy asshole managers. They're just really trying to navigate how to get people to operate at a certain standard while being a little bit insecure on how exactly you're going to get there. Micromanagement is rooted in an obsession to control. It's a very anxious, exhausting, obsessive way to try to manage things. And if you're a micromanager, you are trying to dictate the how of everything, the what of the work, how the work is going to get done, when the work is going to get done. Every little detail about the work is under their scrutinous observation. They hand off work and then want to redo it themselves, or they give an endless amount of very unclear, vague critiques that ultimately just stall progress and kill the confidence in their team. It is an interruption of quality work rather than an encouragement of quality work. So it's rooted in a very anxious, insecure, obsessive way of managing work instead of leaning into accountability, encouragement, and guidance, which is what leads to building trust in a team and leads to quality work in a team. So I would argue that you can still have nitpicky, very high standards and not be a micromanager if you're able to master how to give clear feedback. And I'm going to give you a simple framework to do that. In this framework, a core concept here is understanding that you want to very clearly dictate what success means to you. You are dictating the outcome of the work. And even if you have SOPs, you're still not going to be dictating like how exactly, when exactly this person gets that work done. You can have SOPs, you can have deadlines, and still not be a micromanager. Okay, so your simple framework here is going to be PIC. PIC, I'm taking it from nitpicky because I like a good pun. So PIC, it stands for preference, impact, and course of action. Your first thing is to understand what your preference is. The example I'm going to give here is I was talking to a client recently and their assistant did some kind of work. I was checking in, the client was giving some decent positive remarks, pretty much saying, oh, it's fine, everything looks good, yada, yada. But there's an element of me that's like, this person's holding a little bit back. So instead of asking, hey, what can this assistant do differently next time? I instead asked, if you were to redo this work yourself, is there anything that you would have done differently? And then they started coming up with all these critiques. Okay, so like, okay, these small little things, these small preferences that you have, you want to voice them and you want to be clear about what these preferences are. Because if you're not, especially if you bottle them up, it's just going to feed this silent resentment in you. Because over time, your assistant is never really going to fix those things that you don't like because they never knew that you didn't like them. And you're just going to get more and more annoyed. And then you're going to end up feeling like, oh, I could never delegate this. No one can ever do it right. I can't trust someone with this. Well, it's because there's these small things about it that you just haven't voiced. So really, what are your preferences, even if they are high standard, annoying, tedious little preferences? Figure those out, clearly communicate them. The second thing you're going to figure out is the impact. So what impact does doing it your way have on the business? Okay. Is it that it would represent your voice more? It would feel more authentic to you? Is it that it would resonate with your customers more? Would it impact the customer experience or potential referrals? What is the impact? Why would you do it this way? Understanding the why is a key element to your assistant not making this mistake again, and your assistant becoming a proactive supporter for you, because now they understand how you think, why certain things matter, so they're more likely to catch future mistakes before they ever cross your desk. All right, so what is the impact? And then C is course of action, because you now have a choice of how you want this to play out. You can choose to redo it yourself and then just show them, hey, I redid it. Please take note for next time. You can choose to give them your preferences and feedback and have them redo it. Or you can say, hey, the impact is not that great in this moment, so I just want you to have this feedback so you do it differently next time. It totally depends on the circumstance. I've chosen each course of action for different tasks and different types of people that I'm working with. So your course of action is totally dependent on you and that specific circumstance. But having that simple framework of preference, impact, course of action is going to help you give that nitpicky feedback and have really high standards without ever being labeled as a micromanager and without feeling like you're wrong or being a bad boss for giving this feedback. And it's going to lead to an amazing relationship with your assistant, because they're going to be so clear on what success means for you and how to really be the best supporter and best helper for you. So if you've been burned before and you are worried that an assistant is never going to quite get it, but you really want to have someone own things and take things off of your plate, then I'd encourage you to just reach out to us. We have amazing virtual administrative, executive, and operations assistants on our team that could be a perfect fit to support you and are really great about getting feedback and reading between the lines in your feedback as you work to figure out your own PIC strategy. So you can reach out to us and book a call at auxosvs.com/book, and I'd be happy to chat with you.